previewing Lions-Vikings. Season finale, essentially, before the playoffs. It's starting to heat up a little bit. And it's so rewarding now, not just talking about the final game, as in we're going to talk about this game, and then we're going to get into draft talk. We're going to start talking about the prospects. Who should the Lions take at 6? Who should the Lions take at 7? This is different, because now it's not over. We're going to preview this game, Sam Flannel, and then we jump right back into it next week. And we're talking postseason. Lions are in the dance. But this week, their focus should be on the Vikings. And Dan Campbell already made it clear they're not resting players. Now, I don't know exactly if they're up 2-3 scores. Maybe that changes. More likely 3 scores. I think 2 scores might not be enough. But regardless, he already said starters are playing a majority of the game. I'm already scared to bet on this game for those reasons. Bet on player props. But I want to go to you first, Sam. If the Lions leave Ford Field, and this is a pissed off team coming off last week. Brad Allen fired this team up. The NFL fired this team up. And I think they're going to want to prove a point. And not just that, not just as a team, but individually. Amon-Ra St. Brown was snubbed from the Pro Bowl. He's going to want to put up a $150 this week. I think it's going to be a motivated Lions team, and the Vikings are just unfortunately in the way. It's the Lions train, and they're just on the railroad tracks, just chilling there. But how do you see this game playing out for the Lions?
All right, I think there's a very, very good chance that it's hard to say bloodbath because those rarely happen in the NFL. I mean, even with the Lions this year, the only one that I can really think of are maybe the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. Those were definitely bloodbaths. But I expect a double-digit victory. I expect the Lions to put on an offensive masterclass. I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to throw the ball effectively because you very rarely see the Detroit Lions, I don't think they've done it all year this year, put together 2 consecutive, I would say, substandard offensive performances. And we already know that the Lions are going to be able to run the ball. I know the Vikings have had a good run defense for parts of this season, but the Lions can basically run on anybody. I think Jared Goff's going to have a big day. I think Amon-Ra's going to have a big day. I think to some extent, I'm not saying they're going to force feed Amon-Ra because, of course, Amon-Ra, he's going to get his targets and he's going to get his numbers no matter what. But it wouldn't shock me if he puts up the numbers in this game to finish the season with the coveted 120, 1,510 stat line, which if he does that, it would be even more silly that he didn't even make the Pro Bowl, and that will be a huge all-pro statement. I expect the offense to put on a masterclass. The only way that I think that the Lions offense can be, I would say, slowed down is if Danielle Hunter completely wrecks the game. But we all know who the Lions have on the other side, and that is, of course, one Penei Sewell, the best tackle, the best offensive lineman in all of the NFL. I think defensively, here's the thing. The only way that I think the Lions could get in trouble defensively, I do think they're going to give up a few points. I do think they're going to give up a few big plays, is that if they get absolutely annihilated by Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Because here's the thing. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and at the time TJ Hawkinson, they put up numbers on the Lions the last time that they played each other when the Lions went to Minnesota and lost. But it didn't really matter because the Lions still won because they were able to shut down the run game and they were able to force 4 turnovers. I think the only way that the Lions lose, or even it gets a little uncomfortable, is if it's just maybe a $150 for Justin Jefferson and then maybe 80 to 100 for Jordan Addison. And granted, both of those guys are capable of putting up big games. They've done it this year, and they've done it with Nick Mullins as the quarterback, who shows that he can sling it around, he can put up numbers, he can throw some of those YOLO balls to Justin Jefferson, which actually, by the way, Jeff, is not a bad strategy sometimes because Justin Jefferson will come down with them. But I also think this is a game where the Lions are ripe for another turnover or two. I'm not saying they're going to pick off Nick Mullins 4 times, but once or twice, that's what Nick Mullins does. He throws too many up for grabs, and I think the Lions have been opportunistic lately, especially with Iffy, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch. I think they pick one off, and I also think that the defensive line pressure will be a little bit better than it was in the last game. I think Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack and a half or 2. I think that they're more harassing Nick Mullins than they were last game, and I think that it is a pretty decisive victory for the Lions this week.
No, I agree. There's 3 things I think the Lions just get this done and we're okay. I don't need style points. I don't need the game to look a certain way. This is what I need to happen, okay? Number 1, don't show your hand. I think that's important heading into the postseason, right? For Ben Johnson, for Aaron Glenn, keep everything vanilla. You just want to win this football game without giving out too much, right? Because other teams are going to be watching, especially not just this game, but last game in Dallas. This stuff, the whole season's on tape, but they're going to be watching what the Lions are doing. So keep it vanilla and just stick to what you know. Save the extra stuff, the things that Ben Johnson does really well, right? The creativity, all that stuff, save it. Well, save it for your first playoff game, okay? So keep it vanilla. Don't show too much of anything. Number 2, stay healthy. That should be one of the more important things. And no, it's not really it's not up to anybody for these guys to stay healthy. It's football, so things are going to happen. It's a very physical game. But what I mean by that is, if you're up, like I said, by 2-3 scores, and I don't know if Dan's going to do this, but like Jahmyr Gibbs, if he's got 12, 13 carries and you're up 2-3 scores, just put Craig Reynolds in. Like, you don't need, Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't need to show us anything more. I get for those guys chasing 1,000 yards, which I wouldn't hate that. It's a great accomplishment. It'd be the 6th team, I believe, in NFL history to have 2,000-yard backs. So I get if you want to leave Jahmyr in there and get him 1,000. He needs 80 yards, but don't force it. You need Jahmyr healthy. You need David healthy. I wouldn't mind Craig Reynolds getting some carries as well. I don't mind that at all, especially late in the ball game. And that goes for other players as well, even a Sam Laporta. Like, I know he's a rookie, but still, guys that are dealing with injuries, the Taylor Decker, just rest him if you're up 2-3 at this point. You just want to keep everyone healthy. That's number 1. Because especially, you look at the top teams in the NFC, the 49ers. We look at how stacked their roster is. They can't afford to lose a Trent Williams. And look how stacked their roster is. So why can the Lions afford to lose anybody? They can't. So that's how that works. You don't want anybody going down this game. So if you could pull guys, please find the opportunity to do it. The other thing would be, and this is why I'm a fan of Dan Campbell playing starters, is you want to get back into a rhythm offensively. This offense has to get back into what they were doing. Last week, I get they faced a very good Dallas Cowboys defense on the road. But now you're facing a Vikings defense, which I think essentially at this part of the season is just checked out. Like, I think they're just checked out. The Vikings have really nothing to play for. I mean, if they win, they have an 8% chance of making the playoffs. I mean, the only thing they got left to play for is pride. So at this point, you just want to get in, get out like you stole something, get a team that's 100% healthy, and don't show too much, JB. You know, just keep it vanilla and get a win. Because I think the Lions are good enough to do that. They don't have to look cute and get a win. Just win it by 1, 2, 3. I don't give a damn.
I mean, that's pretty much fair. I would like to see that happen. At least just, go in there, play a clean game. But I'll tell you right now, it's a different feel in Allen Park this whole week. They're fired up. They want to go out there and pretty much destroy the Vikings as it is. And I can tell you right now, they probably know what's on the line as well, too. There's still a little bit of a chance of a hope for that number 2 seed. I know we're still in the running with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both having 1,000 yards, so they want to get them their touches to at least get that as well, too. But, dude, they want to put up 30. They want to put up as much points as they can, and then at half, switch it up. Put Teddy Bridgewater in. If this is going to be his last go-round, his last game, at least let him get a few reps, a few plays in there to at least go out on a high note. But also on the flip side, the Vikings aren't slouches either, too. Like, they're still somewhat trying to play for a playoff spot as well. They need a lot more than, we do for that number 2 seed, but still, they have a chance. And I don't think they're going to go down without a fight. But I still think the Lions get the win in this one easy. And Ben Johnson, play the most vanilla game you can. Sit here, keep all the rest of those plays that you've been hiding for the playoffs, and just do simple plays. Just simple. I don't need any end arounds, no Statue of Liberty plays, no fake punts. No, I don't need any of that. Just the plain, simple game. Boring game. Just give me a boring game.
Yeah, and I agree with Funky here. He says, I would love to see Teddy play at least the fourth quarter, let him take his last steps where he started. Well, that I agree with, but the other part of it is just rest Jared. Like, I don't need Jared to play till the clock hits 0. He has nothing else to prove. If they're up or even if they're down, just bench him. Because the last thing you need, we can talk about losing a wide receiver, losing a running back. It all stinks on this offense. You don't want to lose even a guy like a Josh Reynolds or David Montgomery or Taylor Decker. You don't want to lose those guys. But hell, if you lose Jared Goff, it's over. Yeah. So I'm cool. Yes, Teddy Bridgewater's last season, you want him to play a little bit. I get that. But the real reason is I want Jared Goff walking off that field unscathed.
Yeah, so and that's just gives further credence to our whole, it would be nice if they got off to a really hot start and they got to a point where they had an insurmountable lead but at that point, and maybe midway through the fourth quarter or even at the start of the fourth quarter. And I don't think that that's outside the realm of possibility, considering the fact that I think the Lions offense is going to have a field day. I think that the Lions defense is going to turn over Nick Mullins at least once, maybe twice, and I think that Aiden Hutchinson is going to make a few huge splash plays as well. So I think that's a pretty good formula for getting a pretty big lead, getting an insurmountable lead by at some point in the fourth quarter to where you can take Jared Goff out. Because I think if it's a close game, if Jared Goff for some reason, which would be, I don't think this is going to happen, has to lead, I don't know, either a game-winning drive or a potential game-winning drive, or maybe execute the 4-minute offense if they have the ball back with like a 7-point lead or something like that. I don't think you can take Jared Goff out at that point, because the Lions actually do have something to play for, however unlikely it may be. But as I said before, the Eagles and the Cowboys both have road division games, and those teams have dropped some questionable ones throughout the season. The Jets, the Eagles to the Jets and to the Cardinals, and the Cowboys to the Cardinals, all of those games when there was a lot to play for. So if it's close, keep Jared Goff in. But if they even have like a 17-point lead, Lions, midway through the fourth quarter, take him out, put in Teddy Bridgewater, because I don't think they're going to blow that one.
Yeah, and even for a side note, and I don't think this is going to happen, but the benefit of getting Teddy reps is, God forbid Jared does go down in the postseason, he's played recently. Like, the last thing you need, and it's not ideal, because if he goes down, it's over. I do believe that. It's over. But at least if Teddy gets in the ball game, he's got some reps in the regular season. Like, he has not played at all this entire season. So, before he played in the preseason. So, like, ideally, get him a little bit of reps. This game, to me, I don't really care. I know they say for the two-seed purposes, if Philly and Dallas lose, I don't really think they're going to lose. So, you want to win the game, but it's not the end of the world. I think, more importantly, I want guys to be healthy. That's my number one concern. Like, as long as you can get out unscathed and you got an entire healthy roster heading into the playoffs, I'm a happy man. I don't give a damn if it's a 2 or 3 seed, because they just shown us they went to Dallas and almost just won. So, more importantly, keep these guys healthy.